What kind of game can you make in just 1 minute? What about 10? Or a whole hour? Today I'm putting my dev skills to the test and things get weird. Alright, here's the deal. I'm going to try making a game in 1 minute, then in 10 minutes, and finally in 1 hour. Let's waste no time and jump straight into the chaos. Okay, 1 minute, no pressure. And go. My plan for the 1 minute game was pretty simple. Just have a player moving. So I added the plane, created the player, gave it a character controller, and made a script. The script I did not write myself because I only had 1 minute. I just straight up went to the internet and tried to get the first script I could find. And it actually worked pretty good. I also used the script for the other projects, so the 10-minute and 1 hour projects. So I just had to change the name, compile the script and edit the script. Now I added the main camera to the player and the camera to the variable, and that's it. So the game, as you can see, I did not have enough time to actually position the camera correctly, but this is, you can move. It's not really a playable game, but you can move. Alright, time for redemption. 10 minutes, let's go. For the 10-minute game I started off like the 1 minute game, but this time I added the camera at the correct spot, so I had camera movement down in under 2 minutes, as you can see right here. And now I wanted to add a gun, because why not, guns are cool, so I can shoot stuff. The gun looks really bad, but it's the best I could offer in 10 minutes. Then I had to look up how to actually do raycasting, because I know how to do it, but I forgot how the actual syntax is. So I had to look it up, and here you can see me try doing it. Yeah, I tried a couple different things. This is the first try. As you can see, it kind of works, but the lines are coming from the camera, so I just had to change this to come from the gun, and now you can see it actually works. It does look really bad, but the best I can offer in 10 minutes. So now I added enemies. I made him red because obviously enemies are red. I gave him some health and a function so he can actually take damage, and if he doesn't have any health anymore, the game object will just be set active false. You could also destroy the game object, but doesn't really matter anyways. So now you can actually shoot enemies, and if he doesn't have any health anymore, you will deactivate. And now for the last couple of minutes I wanted to add some random movement to the enemies, which I tried doing in the update function, but as you can see here it didn't really work correctly. And I also got some random errors. I thought it's because of the material, turns out it wasn't. And then I tried to figure out why the enemies didn't move correctly, and it turns out I had to actually make it a if-else statement here. The move just gets set true if it just like starts moving, so it moves like for only a really tiny bit and then it stops. So if this if-else statement it worked, and I actually added the material back. They only moved once, they didn't have any time to make them move again. So yeah, that's it. Okay, 1 full hour. Time to get serious. Let's build something real. So for the 1 hour game I again added an FPS controller and I again added a gun. But this time I made it differently because I wanted to have it actually spawn some bullets. So again I got some code from the internet, I changed it slightly and now I'm adding the bullet, and now if you can see it, the bullet instantly despawns. This is because I had a collider on the gun, so the bullet was colliding with the gun and then instantly destroyed itself. I just had to remove that. So now it works, but the force is really low, so I just made the bullet speed higher and now we actually have a gun shooting bullets. So that looks nice, but I noticed that it was lagging a bit. So I tested it out some more and my FPS were fine, but it was lagging. Turns out I have to change it to interpolate. Now everything was working smoothly. Now I added an actual enemy, this time a capsule, which actually now has a knife mesh, so that I can actually follow the player and damage it. And now as you can see, the script gave me a public float health, which it then changes via script and checks in the update function if health is below 0 or 0. Which you should actually do, like I'm showing right now, is make a serialized private max health, which you then change in the editor, and a private float current health, which in the start function you set the current health to max health. What you do is you make a public function like I'm doing right now, which you can just call take damage or something, make your current health be minus the damage, and then you check if the current health is below 0 or 0, and then you can destroy the game object. This is just how you should do it, but the script gave it to me in the other way, so I just wanted to show you how you should actually do it. Now I'm just adding some attack range, attack cooldown and move speed for the enemy, so I can just change the enemies, so I can have different types of enemies. Now I'm changing the player controller a bit, like I was a bit too fast and I was jumping a bit too high, just trying out some stuff, what works fine. Now I actually make a player script so the player actually also has health, and now from the enemy I get the player and then I damage the player via the function. So now the player can actually die, even though it's just a debug log for now. Now I'm making the world a bit, because right now it's just a flat ground and you can walk off the edges. So I start by adding some walls to all the sides, and then I add some obstacles so it's a bit more interesting. So now I make an enemy spawner and I position some spawners around the world so I can spawn the enemies at different positions. Now I make the enemy spawner script, so now as you can see enemies get randomly spawned and start attacking the player. Now I added some UI. First I added a score, which gets automatically updated each second he's alive, and if he kills an enemy his score will get upped by 10 points. And now I also added some more variants to the enemies. First I added a small enemy who's really fast, doesn't have a lot of health though, but he also does a decent amount of damage. And now I also added a really big enemy who has a lot of health, but he's really slow. Now I added the enemies to the spawner and then you can see me testing if it actually works well. Then I created a new scene, the start menu scene, where I just added some buttons, the start and the quit button, and a title with a really cool gradient, which I haven't done before, but it looks pretty cool. Then I added the logic. Then I added if the player dies, the current score will get shown, and you have a button to go to the main menu. Here I realized that the player can't actually see its own health, so I quickly added that and then the game was done. So at the end, quick footage of me playing the game, the score gets automatically updated, and if you kill an enemy, your score gets increased by 10, and if you die, your final score gets displayed. There are a lot of errors, but I didn't have time to fix them. You can go back to the main menu and then start a new game. So here they are, the 1 minute mess, the 10-minute prototype, and finally the 1 hour almost game. Which one would you actually play? Let me know below. This was super fun to make. If you enjoyed it, maybe hit that subscribe button and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.